So part of my aesthetic was, when I'm doing fun videos, TBRs, wrap-ups, random talky stuff my brain comes up with and tells me is a good idea, I was gonna do it in front of a fun bookcase. But for the more serious things, like individual book reviews, I was gonna do it in front of the empty bookcase so the attention is just on me and the lone book on the shelf. It's supposed to be really metaphorical and stuff like that. And I do want to talk about a book today. And we are gonna talk about a book today. But I hate sitting. And I'm just like, I can't. Not today. No. I hate it. I hate sitting. You guys know, if you watched my BookTube newbie video, watch it again. I think I'm so hyper right now because I had like 8 Rice Krispie treats. I have no restraint. But go ahead and grab your mugs, whatever mugs you use to look scholarly. Whom are we talking about, perhaps you are thinking? I've already did a review on The Wife Between Us. It was part of some month's wrap-up, and it was my favorite book of that month. It was probably June. But because this is a thriller, you can't say much about it. But it's just time to talk about it, and we're going to get into spoilers. So this is just a nice discussion about what I appreciated in this book, what I loved, and how stupid and a bad judge of character I am. Fun fact, I never use this mug because I don't drink anything but water. And smoothies and milkshakes. Tea? Nope. Coffee? No. The tears of my enemies? I sprinkle a bit in there. I just walked away for like a minute to get me a drink of water because I'm not using that dirty, dusty cup. And I want to apologize to all the chairs I offended out there. I think I came across as too passionate about my dislike for them. It's not a personal thing. I just don't like anyone dictating the dimensions of where I can rest or the position of which I'm resting. Can't tell me what to do, you four-legged piece of wood or plastic. You can't. The Wife Between Us is an amazing domestic thriller. One of 2 thrillers I've read, both by the same authors. They teamed up, and they really meshed together well. You can't tell where one author began and the other picked up, or just where their 2 minds differentiate. I love their writing style, and honestly, in this book and in their second book, An Anonymous Girl, every time they describe food, I get so hungry. And all the people in these books, they're rich, they have money, and they're getting filet mignon, grilled asparagus, so much yummy good fish. I want this. In this tale, we follow the 2-person perspectives of Nellie and Vanessa. Nellie is the wife that is coming in to replace the old wife, Vanessa, married to, I just talked about Rebecca in the last video, and I was about to say Maxim. No, his name, Richard. His name is Richard. I didn't even have to look. Yes! When we're first introduced to these 2 ladies, Nellie's just a sweet preschool teacher, and she is just the blushing fiancé to be. She's majorly in love with her fiancé, loves Richard, loves everything he does, and honestly at this point I was like, he is a saint of a man, and I want him to. So yeah, I already said spoilers, right? We know Richard is awful. Did I know that at first? Actually, we'll get into that too. I realize I am amazingly good at picking out bad guys or the secret bad guys in YA. But in like real world, contemporary thriller, I am a sucker. Like, send me all your Nigerian princes, all your Ponzi schemes. I will fall for it. I am dumb. So yeah, Richard had me fooled for a while until we got to until the end of part 1. Then I'm like, oh, I absolutely loved this book. It wasn't like constantly being chased suspense thriller. It was a slow little burn, moving through memories of this woman and every little falsehood that we the reader were tricked into believing until the whole landscape of her life is just revealed to us, and it's not a pretty picture because I was floored, and I had to look up spark notes for this. When it was revealed Vanessa and Nellie were the same person, even though there were plenty of hints that I recognize now and make me want to reread this book. Yeah, because I am so used to YA, when it was revealed Vanessa and Nellie are the same people, we were just living in 2 different timelines. Not really, we were reading about 2 different timelines. This isn't about parallel universes. We were just in Vanessa's memory when she is called Nellie by Richard because Richard calls her a nervous Nellie. That's actually where the first little something's not right here bell went off, because I don't think we learned that Nellie isn't Nellie's real name until part 2. And Nellie, the girl, she seems like 20, and I'm like, Nellie seems like a really old-fashioned name for someone this age and this age. So I was already like, that doesn't sound like a real name. So when the big revelation took place that, oh, Vanessa and Nellie are the same person, and the person Vanessa has been stalking is Emma, the real replacement for her. Because I'm so used to YA, thought, oh my gosh, did Richard clone her? Did he throw away the original to have a better copy? That's literally what I was thinking when I first read this. So yeah, my mind was blown. And this is just a discussion video about because it's a thriller and I want to talk about it, but it has to be a spoilery thing, so I need people who've already read it to listen to me. I want to talk. And I never try to solve mysteries or thrillers. I love being surprised, even though I just made a whole video about how I spoil myself for everything. But I do love being surprised. But looking back on it now that I know everything, now that hindsight is 2020, I get it. I get how everything built up to Richard and Vanessa living in abuse. There's that scene on the airplane where you're in Nellie's perspective in part 1, so you're thinking Nellie is totally a different person from Vanessa. And Richard and Nellie, they're talking on the plane. Richard swaps seats with a military guy in a show of patriotism so he can sit by that lovely young lady with the blonde long hair. I think she's blonde, I really can't remember. And Nellie asks him, oh, do you have family? Are you married? Tactful. And Richard's like, nope. And at this time, because I'm still thinking Vanessa and Nellie are totally different people, I'm like, that lying dog. He's got a wife at home trying to get pregnant for him and her. They both want kids. Thinking about it now, that didn't come out right. Wife at home, trying to get pregnant, husband on plane. That's a whole nother affair right there. But still, Nellie, she's thinking, oh, this man's available. They start dating, but never does Nellie bring up learning about the other woman, who we think is Vanessa. Actually, she does, but turns out there's like 4 women in this tale. There's Nellie, there's Vanessa, there's Emma, the real replacement, but there's also another girl who came before Vanessa, who Richard pushed down the stairs and is now a therapist. So that's the real first wife, even though they weren't married. They were just like in a relationship. They were girlfriend and boyfriend, I think. So, what a tangled web we weave. I just love talking about this. And I'm gonna forget this, but Duke, that dog. I want that dog. I love it when people have dogs in books. I felt so bad when Richard probably killed Duke or throw him in the ocean or just let him run wild along a train track. The other similarity that hinted me that Vanessa and Nellie are the same were that they both were like bordering alcoholism. Vanessa definitely, because when we were reading those 2 different perspectives, Nellie and Vanessa, I was like, these girls oddly have a very broad love for alcohol. Yeah, I enjoy being surprised. If I manage to solve a mystery in a TV show or a book, it's a bad one because I'm not trying to. Like, there's some TV show called Father Brown on Netflix. I read The Hammer of God in English class. Loved it. So I was like, oh, I want to watch this on Netflix. So obviously I knew already who was going to get killed and who did the killing. But the next episode, I'm like, that guy. Next episode, that guy. Next episode, that guy. It wasn't good. Although there was that funny French guy, Flambeau. I like Flambeau. I don't think they have any more books, but I just need to double check. Life Between Us, 5 out of 5. I loved it. I love domestic thrillers. I'm sorry, I just keep moving out of shot. Especially if one of the spouses are psycho. I mean, it sucks. Bad, majorly bad for the sane spouse having to put up with all this, but I'm entertained. So of course, in a book like this, there are triggers for that stuff. Abuse. And honestly, there was one scene, page 336, because I remember it vividly. Double checking that. 337. But it's still the same thing. But that's the scene where Richard is literally choking Vanessa. And it's honestly my favorite scene because I like it when my villain's villains. But I was also, my heart hurt for her so bad. Like, I wanted it to stop, but I'm a heartless reader. I'm also like, the plot is getting thicker. You crazy? But Vanessa, she is a tough cookie. I love her. I wish I could give her another puppy. She deserves one. She saved another woman from a horrible, horrible fate. And this whole other woman, whoa. Like, there's a prologue in this book. We didn't need this prologue, but it was just a very sweetly satisfying prologue because this book's also about affairs. And Vanessa, she actually staged the affair between her husband and his secretary. She is so smart, and wow, she maneuvered her way right out of there without having Richard coming at her like a battering ram. But we learned that in the past, Vanessa, she was in like a horrible, horrible dorm accident where one of her charges drowned in the ocean during a hazing ritual, I think that's what it's called, for a sorority house. She left her charge unattended to go to her boyfriend's house, who was a professor who was married. Did she know that? No. So she was the other woman in that relationship. And the daughter in that other relationship, who her father cheated on with Vanessa, she comes back at Vanessa for revenge like 10, 15, 20 years later. And she's the one, the secretary Emma, who takes Richard away from Vanessa. These women, they're just amazing, smart, and I love revenge. I love it. So then in the prologue, we have Emma saying, "It is I." I'm paraphrasing.
"It is I have come for revenge."
But seeing how you have saved me from your psycho ex-husband, thank you, Anna. We're cool now. This tale was just a wild, wild ride, and I want to read more thrillers. I have just a burgeoning to-be-read list on Goodreads. Now, I'm assuming since you're here that you have read this, what was your favorite part of this book? Do you have any more thriller recommendations for me? Domestic suspense, my favorite. I would like at least one psycho person, although I will say, my one complaint, okay, two. I have to say this one first, because I would forget it. Thrillers are like contemporaries for me. The ending could ruin the book for me. Like, their other book, An Anonymous Girl, loved it. They even had like chapters from a second point of view, like first person, second person point of view, which is like, I see you walking down the road. You are wearing a blue sweater today. That gave the book such a psychotic vibe to it. A real stalkerish vibe. Loved it. But the ending of that book, I did not like, because it was one of my least favorite tropes, where the villain just does something stupid, like laughs at the wrong time, like, "Aha! You are about to die. Let me tell you my whole evil plan." Something like that. And I like the ending of this book, because it was rational. It was honestly the only way I think she could have gotten evidence. And because of that, because I could relate on, we need to solve it this way, it was kind of predictable, but minorly predictable. I actually laughed at the end where Richard, because I think someone hit Richard upside the head, I can't remember. He's in the hospital, he asks to see Vanessa, and Vanessa comes because she's all cool and wants to see her oppressor one last time before she rides off into the sunset. Richard's like, "Can we start over? We can adopt kids this time." And Vanessa's like, "Ha! And just walks off. But my second complaint is the back. The back says, when you read this book, you will make many assumptions. You will assume you're reading about a jealous ex-wife. You will assume she is obsessed with her replacement, a beautiful younger woman who is about to marry the man they both love. You will assume you know the anatomy of this tangled love triangle. It's not a love triangle. Assume nothing." And because it said that, the little hint was there in the back of my mind that Richard was the villain. And it's pretty obvious, but I like to go into things oblivious, because I like being surprised. But because of that, I was on the lookout for it. Well, this was just me rambling on what I liked. No different from any other video I post. Thank you guys so much for being here and just opening up a discussion about what we liked in this book. I just really wanted to talk about how smart I am. Not really, I'm not. I just wanted to talk about all the little hints I was picking up throughout the book, my favorite parts, just what I thought about the characters. I love the characters in this book. I love how they describe food. I love the writing style. It's very plain, but you see everything. It just flows very naturally. It's fast-paced. I loved it. Let me know your thoughts on The Wife Between Us. Let me know what other thriller book I should pick up, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, keep turning pages.